Scrum is a way of managing projects that has become very popular over the last years. Some people even think that Scrum can solve all their project management related problems. In this video today, I would like to show you that Scrum, if you apply it in the wrong way, can even be a threat. Tesla is one of these companies that went into the Scrum Trap. My forecast is that Tesla will not survive the next 3 years, partially because they're applying Scrum not in the right way. But first of all, we have to answer two questions. Question one, does Tesla actually use Scrum? Well, there's quite a lot of evidence that they do. For example, Jeff Sutherland states in his blog that he had been carrying out several Scrum training sessions at Tesla. The second question that we need to answer is, does Tesla have problems? Well, I think they really have problems. I would like to show you two examples. One is Elon Musk made a forecast that in July of 2017 that Tesla is going to produce 20,000 units of the Model 3 by the end of 2017. Actually, they were only producing 1,500 units per month. Apart from that, Tesla is burning incredible $480,000 per hour in cash. And they're far away still of reaching the break-even point. On the contrary, their debt is growing and growing. Now I would like to show you 3 traps of Scrum that Tesla went into and that you should avoid if you want to apply Scrum in a successful way at your organization. Trap 1. Moody. Agile methodologies are based on lean management. Lean management is a methodology that was invented in the 70s and 80s in Japan. According to lean management, you should avoid the 3 M's. These 3 M's are Muda, Muri, and Mura. That means waste, overburden, and unevenness. Overburden means that you're applying machinery, facilities, or even human resources in an exaggerated way and thus affecting them negatively. There have been leaked many internal emails from Tesla that show that they're expecting 80-hour work weeks, that they're expecting that you have to come in to your office on weekends, and they simply expect that you're dedicating your whole life to the company. The result simply is a problematic company culture. Just a couple of months ago, they were firing 400 employees at a time. In his book on Scrum, Jeff Sutherland clearly shows that overburden, he calls overburden heroic management, that this overburden results in poor quality, rework, demotivation of the employees, and finally in simply a low productivity. Trap 2. Incremental and iterative approach. An iterative and incremental approach is one of the most important principles of Scrum. You're constantly delivering products after each sprint. These products are already tested and integrated, but most likely they're not perfect yet. This approach works really well when you're developing software. For example, if Siri on your iPhone recognizes 95% of what you're saying, you're pretty happy. That means in 95% of the cases, you don't have to type your message. Probably Apple will come up in the future with advanced versions of Siri that might have a recognition rate of 98 or 99%. But for the moment, I guess you're pretty happy with the maybe 95% that it might have at the moment. Well, let's assume you're using your car 300 days per year, for example, for getting to the office. If that car has a confidence level of 95%, that would mean that it doesn't start in 15 days per year. That means on the average, your car doesn't start in the morning 1 or 2 days per month. Would you buy that car? I guess not. Would you buy, or have you already bought an iPhone? Probably yes. So let's see what's the difference between the two. If cutting-edge technology works at a confidence level of 95%, you might be positively surprised. But let's imagine that your coffee maker, the elevator, or the lights at your house are working at a 95% rate. That means that every couple of days you will be stuck in the elevator, you won't have a coffee in the morning after getting up, or at night you're sitting at your home with some candles because there is no electricity. I think that is a very uncomfortable situation. If mature technologies work in 95% of the cases, it is pretty disappointing for you. I think you would never buy an expensive car such as a Mercedes-Benz or BMW if they are not working perfectly. And exactly that is the problem of Tesla. It is an expensive car in a very mature industry with over 100 years of history. So the clients are simply expecting perfect quality, and they don't want to do experiments with the car. That's why many people complain about what you're seeing at the moment. If you buy a car for more than $100,000, you're expecting great quality, and what you see is not really satisfying. But it really becomes dangerous when we're talking about the autopilot. If you're searching on YouTube for my Tesla tried to kill me, you will find lots of videos with severe failures of the autopilot. Unfortunately, already several people have died because of the Tesla autopilot. In that case, an incremental and iterative approach is simply not acceptable. You can't turn in the autopilot technology step by step and using the client as a tester. The interesting thing about that fact is that Tesla seems to be very well aware of these problems, because they blocked reproduction of these videos on the screens inside their cars. Bottom line, an incremental and iterative approach works really good for software, and it works very well with technology that is not crucial for protecting the safety or the lives of people. But if that is not the case, it might be much better to use a different approach. Trap 3, multitasking. Scrum hates multitasking, and that is all right. Multitasking is bad on all different levels. It is bad on a personal level, for example, driving a car and at the same time typing WhatsApp messages. It is bad on a project level, if, for example, one person works at the same time in different projects and has to switch all the time between the different projects. And it's also bad on a company level or on a portfolio level if you're doing too many projects at the same time. Elon Musk has a huge portfolio of different enterprises. Tesla produces vehicles, SpaceX provides space transport, SolarCity provides solar energy, Neuralinks tries to produce a technology that connects the human brain with the computer. The Boring Company is a firm that provides excavation so that they can construct the hyperloops. And OpenAI is investigating on artificial intelligence. If we're having a look on Tesla itself, we can observe that they're not limited to only producing the models S, X, and 3, but they are also planning to offer a roadster and a truck. And apart from that, they also have to manage the huge challenges of the gigafactory. Now, of course, you can say that the big car manufacturers also have huge portfolios with lots of different products and projects. But there are two major differences. First of all, these companies are much bigger, they have huge savings, and they are building cars in a profitable way. The second point is that they are not only focused on cutting-edge technology, but they have rather diversified portfolios. They have, of course, high-risk projects that will pay off in the long run, but on the other hand, they also have short-term projects that will produce cash flows in the short run, and so they have a balanced portfolio. Whereas Tesla is totally focused on only high-risk projects which will pay off in the very far future. In general, according to Scrum, it is much better to do a few things really good and actually finishing them instead of all the time starting up new things. You might have heard once the proverb, stop starting, start finishing. But doing more and more things already turned into a communication strategy that Elon Musk seems to use when talking to his stakeholders. If he can't keep his promises, he simply promises more. You can observe this behavior very good on the Model S. Elon Musk wasn't able to actually deliver the production numbers that he forecasted. But instead of directing all forces to the solution of these production problems, he presents new prototypes for a roadster and for a truck. Of course, there are many factors that will shape the future of Tesla. But from my point of view, these three severe mistakes, the overburden, secondly, the incremental and iterative approach of not turning in perfect, mature products to their clients, and finally, also the multitasking will result in a bankruptcy of Tesla in the next 3 years. Well, what's the resume from a project management perspective? What's the lesson learned here? First of all, Scrum is not bad or dangerous, but it can really become dangerous if you're not applying it in a correct way. Secondly, Scrum doesn't work for all types of projects. The traditional methodologies, waterfall as the Agile community would call them, still are justified. These methodologies from the PMI or from Prince2 still work, and there are even project types where they are simply superior.